Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We're thrilled to death. You are listening to our show.
Woo! Woo!
Thank you for that, Tony. Ooh. That raised the roof. My goodness. We've got a very special episode tonight because near and dear friend, well, maybe, relatively near, and dear friend of the show is visiting us again. It's been a while, but who are you, guest?
Hey, everybody. I'm John from Electronic Audio Experiments, and I'm very stoked to be here for what we're pretty sure is number 3, right?
Yes. Number 3.
Yes.
Incredible.
I can't believe it's only been 3.
The John Snyder.
Trademark.
Yes. Now, do you prefer Electronic Audio Experiments or EAE?
You know, these days it's EAE because everything is moving so fast all the time. Just glad that it's a name I could abbreviate.
Yes.
You know, I think like if I had known this is what I was going to be doing for my job, like every day, I would have picked any other name. Shorter name would have been great. So for economy, sake of verbal economy, EAE is great.
Yeah, it's the only thing that I feel it suffers from is that if you're speaking in long conversation, as we just had a recent guest, EA just kind of like it just kind of falls away in verbal speak.
Yeah.
Which, you know, nothing like Electronic Audio Experiments to grab your attention and hold it for at least a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, enough about that. We need to find out, where can people see the things that you are making right now, John?
Yes. So we've got our website, electronicaudioexperiments.com, or if you're cool and like typing weird URLs, eae.zone, because eae.horse was taken and eae.xxx costs like $5,000 a year.
You get a lot of visitors, I'm sure. But.
Yeah, traffic's great.
It's like any of the short names. Like if your domain name is like 3 letters long, forget about it. It's so expensive. But we also are on Instagram at Electronic Audio Experiments. That's where a lot of our updates go out as far as social media is concerned. And we're on a few of the, Blue Sky threads, whatever, but mostly Instagram is where you'll find us. And of course our email list, which is the easiest way to like actually get stuff when it is happening and not when the algorithm decides that's when it's happening. So
yes.
Yeah, that's the spiel.
All right. Now we're going to be talking about a prototype, an upcoming release. This is very, very, very exciting. So much so that there's no instruction, there's no nothing. It's just like, take it out of the box and do what you want with it. And it was great fun. This is a pretty special pedal, and I'm sure people are going to fall over themselves to get a hold of it. And we're going to find out all about that and more.
Much more.
Very soon. Yes.
Much more.
So, John, right now we're going to hit a couple of announcements. Then we're going to find out what's going on in our music world this week.
Heck yeah.
So, first announcement, I've been getting a lot of questions about the gullet guitar.
Yes.
Tony and I have been working because
feverishly.
There are more legal complications from this.
Let's just call them hurdles.
Hurdles. More legal hurdles than we were really anticipating for this. And we want to make sure that, that we don't get into any trouble.
Hey, this is your podcast, not mine. Todd owns everything.
Yes.
I'm just here as
Chase's idea. It's his fault.
Oh, that's okay. Let's throw Chase in jail.
Yes, and in a manner of saying, I'm going to take responsibility for this, Todd. He goes, "Here's the guitar. Do what you want to do with it."
That's true.
So we are figuring it out. We are going to make sure that we do everybody as right as rain as possible. So please be patient with that.
Please be patient. Yes.
It will happen in one way or another. But it is very cool. It's very exciting. And I promise I'm not sitting there playing it all day and giving everybody a used instrument. It is in a case. It is stashed away. I'm not touching it.
Todd won't let me touch it because I have acid sweat.
Yes, that's true.
Hey, that's good
Okay. Now, the other thing is Midwest Pedal Fest. Oh, hey, John, going to that?
I am. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh my!
Yes.
Wait, no, I'm not going to be there. We're going to be there. God, I'm doing misinformation. So our buddy Tone is going to be there. John Rosen. He is an absolute sweetheart. He knows our stuff super, super well. Great hugger, all around, very, very solid dude. He'll be repping us and Asheville Music Tools.
Yeah. He's the guy that we were going through to talk with.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. And now, so he's going to be there, not you.
Yeah. I got so excited that I lied.
Well,
I genuinely I've been wanting to visit Detroit. That's Alec from Mask Audio is from Michigan originally. Where Chad from Oats and Molasses, and also that band Law Dispute, one of my favorite bands. So been wanting to go visit out there. Just I'm already busy that weekend because I think there's an event at somebody else has an event that same weekend. So
we're a hairbrush convention. Is that what you're busy with?
Yeah, it's a divide and conquer scenario.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry we won't be seeing you, but at least everybody's going to have a chance to play your puzzles if they haven't.
Absolutely.
I have an announcement.
Oh wait, hang on. On that note, Tony.
Yes.
We are. So Tony and I were at my house putting together semblances of two boards. So our goal is to bring a board that is representative of the UK and Europe to the degree that we can get on a board.
Yeah.
And we also have one that is from Canada, a Canadian board.
The north of the border.
Yes.
I like that.
So,
and there might be plenty of people from Canada, too, coming across for the show.
I hope so.
Detroit, it's an easy trip to get from Canada.
Well, yeah.
To and from.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's literally right there.
So that's very cool. We're looking forward to that, and that's the major announcements. So we apologize for the.
I've got a major announcement.
Well, I'm not done yet, Tony.
I got a major announcement.
I know. I'm talking about the gullet guitar. I apologize that this is taking a little bit longer than we had hoped, but we want to make sure that we do it right.
We'll fix it in post.
Yes. Okay. Now, Tony, please say what you have to say.
Well, this is important. This is very important, and it's sad because just in the past couple of days we lost Wayne.
Yesterday, actually.
Wayne Charvel passed away at the age of 85. Now, most people are familiar with his guitars, maybe not him so much, but he was really, in my view, the inventor of the Super Strat, plain and simple,
and everything that came after that.
Yeah. I mean, and, notably, he did Eddie Van Halen's Bumblebee, Michelangelo Battio's four-neck guitar. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
you build yourself a four-neck guitar. I double dog dare you.
I didn't want to.
He sold his company to Jackson in 1978. And then later he started Wayne Guitars with his son Michael, and I've seen him at a couple of the NAMM, or saw him at a couple of the NAMM shows, and he was just basically carrying on the same tradition, mostly Super Strats, but he did a lot of also custom builds and different things like that. So, but it's sad, I didn't realize that he was 85 years old for one thing, but one of the industry giants.
Yeah. For sure. His designs were just scattered.
That defined,
through the 80s.
Defined
really
the 1980s.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. There you have that.
Yeah. I'm in charge of the sad news.
Yes. Let's get on to what's going on in our music world this week so we can start talking with John about all of his cool stuff. But first, we got to hear again from Tony. Aww. And then John's going to kick in here.
Well, as Todd alluded to earlier, we took a little road trip up to see Chase Gullett at his place of work.
Yep.
Indeed, doing the final inspection and acceptance of the custom Gullett guitars that we are going to.
One, no, just one.
Gullett guitar. Did I say
You
guitars?
said
Oh. Gullett guitars that that we're giving. No, it's only one. Sorry. But interestingly, Chase also had a project of mine that was ready to pick up. Now, this is I guess years and years ago, a friend of mine put together a Ricky 325, I think John Lennon style guitar out of scrap wood. It's like butcher block back, and it's had a spalted maple top.
So explain butcher block,
alternating light
maple,
wood, dark wood.
I'm just saying, like, if you're...
It's maple and walnut.
Okay, sure.
So dark brown,
yeah,
light, dark
Sure,
brown, light.
sure.
So think of a butcher block.
That's
like a thing that you cut stuff on. That's what the back looks like. And the top is spalted maple. Cool guitar, short scale. It sat in my shop.
You can unwrinkle your face now, everybody.
It sat in my shop unfinished. I mean, literally raw wood for probably the better part of 10 years.
Wow.
And, I got tired of tripping over it. And I just said, Chase, I sent him some photos. I said, can you finish this for me? And just, and by finish, I mean, put finish on it. I'm gonna
and then some,
and then some. And he cleaned up some fretwork, and there were some other issues that he discovered. But the good news is, I started putting it together, and everything. The bridge lines up nicely. We were a little concerned about the position of some of the tuning machines, but the good news is everything is all the strings clear each other of the tuning. I mean, one is very close
by a string's width.
Yeah, something like that. But it's an interesting guitar. It's not going to be one that I don't think I'll play a lot because I'm not really good with real super short scale things. But I've got it strung up with 12 to...
Hilarious, because you have two, Mando guitars.
Well, those are different. Those are octave guitars. It's an octave 12-string. Come on, man.
All right.
Get with the program. But this one is... I strung this up with 12 to 54s, I think, electric strings. And,
Nice.
With that short scale length, it still feels like 9s or 10s. So
yeah.
It's pretty cool. But Chase did an outstanding job on the finish work. It's going to be a beautiful guitar.
I saw it before, and then I saw it after.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yes.
We'll have to post some photos of that when it's complete.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to see this. It sounds cool.
Yeah. Okay. I will personally send you a photo.
Oh,
now we're talking.
I'm going to sign it too.
I'm going to sign the photo.
Yeah. Okay, John, how about yourself? What's going on in your music world that's not building pedals?
Yeah. So, fortunately, we're always finding cool stuff. That's one of my favorite things about doing this is people being like, hey, I found this weird thing. You might think it's cool. But one of those people is Ben Curley at Caroline Guitar Company, who is he is one of those people with like a sixth sense for finding deals and steals on Facebook Marketplace and all that. And I had put a bug in his ear about this 80s G&L ASAT that he picked up probably sometime last year. I am not intimately familiar with all of the eras of early ASATs. I have an ASAT Classic that's like probably 2000, somewhere between 2005 to 2010. Which for like a $300-$400 guitar, I traded a pedal for it back then.
Wow.
It just is an awesome instrument. And so I was curious about the older ones, and with G&L kind of, doing whatever G&L is doing now.
they're under.
Yeah, and I was bummed about it, and I'm even more so now after what I'm about to talk about. So Ben also is a very good photographer, and so I was just looking at these pictures of this 80s ASAT, which is like it's one of the ones when they were they weren't trying to look like tele pickups. It was just straight like kind of soap bar MFDs, kind of like a cream off-white body, but with like black powder coated hardware.
Oh, that's an early one, yeah.
Yeah, and it just like it had the industrial sort of it wasn't very 80s. Like it was very 80s in some ways. Like the headstock to me feels very 80s. It was like trying
more 90s,
more aerodynamic. But yeah, kind of had more of like a 90s thing going on, and just it really felt like there was always that rumor that ASAT stood for after Strat, after Telly. And I was like, this is the first thing that's felt like, wow, this is a successpur. You know,
it's definitely. I mean, some would say it's as same as a Telly.
But so Ben found a second one and, was basically like, hey man, this thing's like for, pay me a finder's fee. Right. And he sent it up to me and it just is such a cool guitar. It's like the perfect kind of like player grade vintage thing that I like to find. And, it's light, but it sustains well. The pickups are so bright, which I think, when they were making those, it was people who were daisy chaining, a half a dozen amp heads together and had a mile of cable. So it sounded normal by the time it got to the amp. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm like, this guitar sounds like you're plugged straight into a mixing board when you're using like a normal amp. So it's a little bit, viewed through a modern lens. It's a little bit like, oh, this is a Telly for weirdos, but it's just such a fun guitar to play. And I don't know much, whatever their sort of 6 saddle bridge design of that era was, also just very, very comfortable guitar to play.
Yeah.
So,
well, one thing you can do, and I'm pretty sure at that point in time they were using 1 meg pots with those pickups, and those, I mean, they're very similar to P90s. If you want to tone those down, you can take them down to either 500 or 250s even. Nice. I mean, if it's that bright, and it's a vast improvement. I've owned a couple of the early ones like that, and they're pretty cool guitars. Your classic is pickup wise and electronics wise is a lot more like a traditional Telecaster.
Yeah, for sure.
But
it sounds like that bridge sound like it. That Telly, the bridge on the ASAT Classic, it sounds like a normal Telly bridge pickup with like an extra half an octave of bass. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Whereas this thing will take your head off, which to me is a selling point. But even so, I might throw some 500K pots in it just to chill it out a little bit. So that's a good.
That'll definitely help because I had to do that to one or two of mine because you're right. I mean, they can right out the gate, and I think that was pretty typical of Leo Fender. I mean, he must have had zero, anything above 5K he couldn't hear probably. Because all of his designs, and especially at toward the mid 60s, he was switching everything over to 1 meg pots to get maximum high end out of it. And man, it's the other thing you can do is buy a curly cable.
Yep,
that'll get you enough capacitance to tone those things down. But,
absolutely.
But no, those are great guitars to have, and especially with the demise of G&L now.
I think we're looking at is your bridge pickup tilted? Or on a
yes.
Yeah, they all.
Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's like a powder coat.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now.
Aluminum guard.
I'd never seen another instrument, but prior to Ben showing me his, I think he and Philippe are going to probably start stockpiling various cooled 80s GNLs, but I'd never seen a guitar with that textured powder coat on any of like the hardware before, and I just thought it was like. I was like, man, this is such an obvious thing. I love this finish on pedals. It just makes it.
I was going to say, it's just like my pedals.
yeah. I was like, wow, I'm not the only weirdo, but yeah, just a delightful instrument.
Oh, great. That's right on. That's a good one to have. That's a keeper.
It looks like a lot of your stuff sounds. At least,
there's something that feels classic to it in there somewhere, but it's also kind of mean and scary also.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Todd, what about you?
Thank you. Yes. Well, I got to wrap up our recording sessions. Had 3 sessions. And this time it was just me sitting in there with John. And knocking out overdubs and just having fun and like, ooh, what if let's put this here, let's do this here. It's great fun. And
did you put any backmasking in?
No.
Oh, too bad.
Should. No, but we did leave it. I think there's on one we kind of finished and then it like sounds like it's drawn out. I'm like, damn, that one's smoking. And everybody laughs, and just like, yeah. And I was like, maybe leave that in. That's kind of cool, So
I love stuff like that. It's like, what's the what I think it's The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, where you can hear Lindsey Buckingham like very quietly just go fuck under his breath. It's like my wife reminded me of that the other day, and I was like, man, I'm glad they left that in. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, right. So anyways, we did that, and I just wanted to point out, because it's strange when you figure out your gig rig and you're like, yes, this is what sounds great to my ears with the rest of the band while we're all live and in my basement and on the stage and all that stuff. And when you go in the studio, every time that we've done that so far, it's like, well, we need to we're going to mix things up, try to add some different textures and sounds and stuff just to enhance things a little bit. And so I had my regular gig rig that I played through, laid down scratch, and also just a main rhythm on. And then he's like, all right, we're going to put stuff over. We're going to do different guitar. We're going to do different amp. We're going to do everything. Everything's going to be different. And it's really just to make sure that the recording's coming out how I feel like I'm hearing it when I'm playing. Mm-hmm. So we went through his 68 Bassman, I think. Mm-hmm. I think that's what years. I can't remember exactly what years, but it went through the Bassman, and which is not my main amp. My main is an AC30, but I switched up some of the pedal stuff, and I just wanted to shout out a couple that I ended up using. The Frost Giant Yama.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, that is on my actual like gig board, and I use it last in the drive chain. Mm-hmm. It is a really great. It's a boost, but I hesitate to even call it a boost. It has a little bit of it's got a little tone selector on it, but it adds just a kiss of oomph underneath it. So that one's great. And the Hello Sailor treble boost, the one that he made for me with the Spitfire on it. Mm-hmm. And one of my main drives is the non-human audio Kimchi.
Dude, I'm so glad you mentioned that, and you're going to find out why soon.
Okay, good. It's just great. I mean, it's like it just does that. It rides very nicely between a overdrive and where distortions can start to get to a fuzz level. Yeah. It feels just, you can make it sound unhinged, and I just wanted to be like kind of unhinged, just like, just trying to get out. And also the Sketchy Sounds old tapes. Okay. Love that pedal. Yeah. So, we kind of played around with a whole bunch of different ones, trying to get the right tone, because I was introducing my Eastwood side jack, which has the Fralin P90s in it, for like a brighter top coat. Yeah. Over the rhythms.
A little shiny.
Yeah. And so anyways, I just, it's like I just sat and I was like, okay, what am I going to bring today? And I'm like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. And it worked out great. I was very happy.
You should have borrowed my octave 12 string.
Yes. Cool. Anyhow, so yeah, those are great pedals. If you're interested in them and you're like, hey, I'm not really sure about this, what do you think? Feel free to hit me up. I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Or go watch all the other stuff.
Yes. Just go buy the Valentino's next album.
Yeah, do that too. John, you were saying?
Yeah, with the treble booster, did you find that being in a studio where you can let the amps rip a little bit gave you a chance to kind of use it more to its potential?
Oh, yeah. Now, fortunately, we're in the control room. Mm-hmm. I was playing in the control room, but that bassman was like, I mean, you could have fried an egg on that thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. And so, yeah, Joe's from Hello Sailor, the treble boost in front of that was just, just a real nice Clark.
That's one of those things, if you plug a Rangemaster or anything in that family into a clean amp and you're like, wait, Tony Iommi? What? Yeah. Yeah. And it's very fun to see that click for people when you get to let an amp like actually, like let one loose. Like, people don't get to do that as often anymore.
No.
And So it's an experience that remains pretty timelessly magical.
I completely agree. And the same thing in front of the. We did the same thing with the AC-30 too.
Mm-hmm.
And John's like, "Don't you dare play anything when I go in there and fix, fix the mic position. I will murder you if you do."
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, good fun,
cool.
great fun. In fact,
Nice.
Okay, well let's. I think it's fair to mention with all these pedals,
Yes.
naturally, I had a little bag full of Tour Gear Designs patch cables.
That is
to
smart.
Stitch them all together,
That's
man.
smart thinking.
It's super smart thinking. That's what I do. Anyways, yes, and I had and these two boards that we're putting together.
Yes.
That was the main thing we're going. We're actually going. Okay, how many cables are we going to need? Which kinds are we going to need?
How long are they going to need to be?
Fortunately, we have somebody to contact for
Who?
this. Tour Gear Designs patch cables. Go to the
Obviously.
site, load up your cart, get a bunch of different sizes, get a bunch of different orientations, C shape and S shape. That's all you got to know. Put them in your cart, hit purchase, get the coupon pop up. Put in, what are you going to put in?
I would put in the guitar knobs, all lowercase, all one word.
That is correct, and you're going to save 15%, and you're going to be happy.
Did you say 15%?
I did.
That's incredible.
Yes. So, thank you to Tour Gear for sponsoring the Four on the Floor.
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. Four on the floor. All right, John. Oh, sorry. Oh, the John Snyder.
Trademark.
Yeah. What is your Four on the Floor?
My floor on the floor is, so you spoiled it already, but the first one is the non-human audio kimchi.
Wow. All right.
Great
I,
minds think alike.
Cool looking
So-
pedal, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Dave's finishing techniques are really special. I have such an admiration for the things that, there's no substitute other than having to put a lot of time and effort into it. And not just in that moment, but, his style represents years of a technique that he has been refining.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is different. And, I just think it's fantastic. I mean, he has a background in art. He was doing, he worked on comic books before he was doing pedals. And so it's cool to kind of see those skills, transmogrified into like a totally different format. But also, aside from looking great, the thing just sounds phenomenal. It's got
It really
just
does.
enough of that kind of gnarly transistor forward thing, but it feels very good under the right hand. It's balanced without being flat, which is something that I really like in a dirt pedal. It's loud. Dave is an enjoyer of large amps, and you can tell because this thing just sounds better the louder you run it. He's great. I met Dave early on because I went out to NAMM one year and I stayed with the Chase Bliss and Old Blood folks, and Andy Offling was there, and Andy and Dave both live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Andy was like, "Hey, yeah, there's this guy in my city who's been making these pedals, and he brought some and just put them on a table with a headphone amp." And I was like, "Well, they look cool, so let's see what the big deal is." And at the time, it was like the Slow Loris and a couple of fuzzes, like the Water Bear. I don't think he's making anymore. And I was like, "Who is this guy? These things are amazing." And then we found out that we grew up one town apart from one another.
Really?
He lived in the neighborhood of Boston that I currently live in. And then he moved out to Albuquerque, and he's like, "Listen, man, your fate is sealed. You're going to live in Albuquerque at some point." I'm like, "I'm not ready to go yet." What a wonderful guy, absolute gentleman, great musician, and a great pedal designer. So yeah, kimchi, that one's number one on the list, and I think well deserved. I've been playing it a lot lately.
Yeah. I think a couple other things come to mind. I think it's a very responsive pedal. So what you just said, it doesn't sound flat. There are a lot of drive pedals, and I'm like, there's just a weird flatness to it that I can't get away from focusing on that. And this one is like, if you dig in, it's going for the ride with you. And I really appreciate that. I think it's also really nice. We've had them on the show several times, and when you're talking with somebody, who is making who well, doesn't matter if they're making anything. If you're talking to somebody who's like figured out their like place in our universe, and is, it's like they just own that, and that is organically sound.
Oh yeah.
That is a great experience when you're talking with somebody like that, because there's no pretense, there's no positioning. It's just like he's just a real dude, and a very talented one, and an intelligent one. And after interviewing dang near 500 people, it's you really can recognize when somebody's got that.
Yes. Yeah, he's a special guy. So real honor to call him a friend. And also it's amazing that he sends me prototypes sometimes, and I'm like, man, I get to be so lucky, and it's like I have to like try to. He's like, hey, any feedback on this? I'm like, I got to dig pretty deep to tell you what you're doing wrong, because like I just I'm at the point now where I'm just like fully bought in.
Right. And sometimes wrong is very right. So who knows, right? I mean,
also true. Also true.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is the dirge slowly melting. This one a little bit is I did design the PCB layout for it, but this is not a pedal I ever could have designed electronically, because it comes from the mind of a singularly beautiful, chaotic individual. Evan Craig, aka Skull Servant, was his internet handle for a long time. Just a truly singular person, an absolute master of making noises and playing guitar in strange ways. And, I think one of the true artists likes to make things one at a time, that are strange and, and unique, and will never exist again in the same way. So Evan and the Obstructures guys, came up to visit a couple weeks ago. And it was just like, we came up to work on a project and just like make a bunch of loud noise and hang out. And it was just, Evan's just such a special guy. So it's really nice to spend time with him. But so we became friends many years ago, probably like 2016, 2017. And, he's worked on pedals a few times. Like he'll take like he'll just like build stuff on VeroBoard and then be like, okay, can you make a PCB for this? I'm like, we're going to see. But the slowly melting is basically like it's a delay chip that's been circuit bent into a fuzz. And there are lots of ways to do this. There are lots of pedals that do this. But his is the one that I think is like, in my admittedly biased opinion, is the epitome of this approach. And, the whole idea is that a lot of these delay chips have op amps in them, and an op amp will produce as much gain as you tell it to. And you can also say, hey, produce as much gain as humanly possible. And a lot of people don't know that, because when you look at this chip, it's just a thing that has 20 some odd pins on it, and it's kind of intimidating. But if you break it down into its raw materials, or if you're like Evan and you're just circuit bending it, you will find these hidden combinations that make it sound crazy. And so it's a delay that is it's a BT2399. It's like a karaoke echo chip just fighting for its life, and it sounds awesome the whole time. And Evan hand paints and engraves every single one, so they're all different. His process on paper sounds similar to Dave's. The pedals could not look any more different. They really both have a unique visual style. And when you turn on the slowly melting, it's on. It can kind of do the shoegaze, sort of warble delay thing, or it can just make like a howling maelstrom of noise, and it all depends on what you want to do with it. But it's also one of those pedals where you just turn the knobs and hope something happens that isn't like utterly terrifying. So it's there's something. It's very fun to just let go and let this pedal do what it wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. Imagine it's even better in front of a loud amp, because the amp is going to kind of fight back a bit.
And it's, it has the volume on tap too. Like you can really make some bad decisions with it. I don't know if Evan ships them with earplugs, but genuinely that should be under consideration.
Wow. Okay. All right. Number 3,
Red Panda Tensor. this is a pedal that I've shouted out a few times over the years because I think of all of the people, they call them bleep bloop pedals, right? It's like a pedal that is there to kind of, chop up your guitar and make sort of, whether you want bird songs or weird reverse glitchy things or whatever. It's a huge class of pedals. And I think that the Tensor is the one that remembers the history of these sound techniques the best, which is people cutting up tape and splicing it together in different ways. And as a result, I think it feels, it allows you to create things like you can play a phrase and then get that phrase back in reverse, which feels like a familiar ageless studio trick. Or you can chop up your sound into something completely unrecognizable. And being able to do both of those things with one pedal, to me, brings it closer to the idea of a pedal as an instrument rather than just a pedal being a pedal.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to put that. Yeah.
And, for all the weird stuff it can do, you can also use it as a pitch shifter, as a double tracker, as a kind of weird chorus pedal. Or you can have it be a drunk time traveling second pair of hands that plays guitar alongside you. And, being able to do all those things. I've owned this pedal long enough that I have the muscle memory to kind of like be able to engage with it in that way. And it's just, to me, such a fun pedal to be able to use because you can do stuff, momentarily. You can kind of punch it in for just like one section of a lead line. So there's a lot of fun, like blink and you'll miss it moments that come from that pedal, just injecting that little bit of weirdness to make it kind of, you kind of strain what feels like physically possible with the guitar when you're playing it.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
I appreciate all that stuff a great deal, but I will tell you this. My idea of like a completely nightmarish escape room is I walk in, there's a guitar and there's a Tensor and a Zoya, and I have to figure it out. I'm not leaving that room. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to send me cans of fruit or something to get out. But I appreciate what it does.
They got to give you the "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire" phone a friend thing. I'll come help you.
That's an idea. We know who to call.
Yes. All right. Last one, number 4.
Last one is we're going to come back to earth a little bit here with the EchoFix Spring Reverb. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to play any EchoFix stuff, but they started off just as tape delay repair parts, and then they started making tape delays, and then they said, well, what if we take the good parts of tape delays and put them into pedals? And so they make a Spring Reverb, which is basically it's like the spring tank from a Space Echo, right? So it's not a full size like amp tank, but it's not a little tiny pedal one either. With a really nice preamp to drive it, and there's a bass and treble EQ for the reverb, and it's just got a cool like kind of VU meter, amplitude sensitive backlight situation going on. So it's visually a very striking pedal, but it just sounds really good. I love Spring Reverb, but this is not a drippy, splashy like surf Spring Reverb. This is kind of like a grimy, like rack mount studio reverb. Even when it's clean, it's a little bit dirty, and also if you want to, you can kick it. So it's just, for me, it's kind of like, it's a nice different flavor from amp Spring Reverb. I've got a 70s twin reverb. The reverb on that is phenomenal. I have a Benson bell ringer, and the reverb on that is very different but also phenomenal. But this reverb feels kind of, this one is it feels like kind of like the rack mount studio Spring Reverbs that I really like, which are pretty underrated on guitar, and not used on guitar very often. But to me, it's like a very magical sound because you can have it be dramatic and spacious, or you can have it be something you don't notice until you turn it off.
Yeah, it's a handsome pedal too, in not an artistic way necessarily, but in just sort of a brute kind of, this is going to get a job done way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And like that enclosure, if it's folded metal, come on. I mean, it just like, it looks and feels great.
Yeah. Well done. That's a great 4 on the floor, man.
I like it.
Right on. We had good discussion about it. That means it's usually good.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's get on to the pedal of the hour. And
but wait.
Okay. Okay.
Should we talk about John's 2 previous visits?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for those listening, want to go back and do a quick rewind. John's first appearance was in May of 2018.
Wow.
Crazy.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I
then
think you only had like 3 or 4 pedals at that point.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
There was the dude. And
Yeah, I think Dude and came out around then.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Sending V2 or Sending V1 was out then.
No, it wasn't.
I think it was. We were. It might have been when the Beholder came out.
Yeah. The Sending, I think, came on the second one. But go ahead.
That's
Tony.
right. And his second appearance was in, and that's episode, I'd say the first one was episode number 89.
Jeez.
Whoa.
That's a
Double digits.
long time ago.
Yeah.
His second appearance was episode number 152 in November of 2019.
Wow.
So this episode here is long.
This is pre-COVID stuff, man.
Long overdue. Now,
It's vintage.
in between all that time,
Yes.
John's name has come up more than once or
Oh my
twice.
gosh. To the point where we had to create a drinking game.
Yes,
essentially.
we did create a drinking game.
Yeah. It's true.
And my liver is paying for it dearly. But it is pretty amazing. But we're so glad that we could have you back on.
Yeah, absolutely. And John, for those that may not be familiar with you outside of the pedal guru that you are, can you enlighten us on just a little bit of your behind the scenes stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you again for having me back on. Just wanted to say that because it really is a pleasure. You guys are a blast to talk to.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I started doing this as a hobby. I was playing in bands. I was the pedal guy in the bands that I was in. And when those slowed down, it was around the time I was starting grad school, and I'd had some experience in electronics and electronics manufacturing. And I had my first year of grad school. There was a winter where I basically got snowed in for a month straight. That's the short version. Boston got like 100 inches of snow. I tell this story every podcast I'm on, but I had all this free time on my hands, and I had a breadboard, and I made what eventually became the Longsword, which is our first pedal. And it's still our most popular one, which, maybe I should have quit while I was ahead. But it's like we over the years, I've tried to make dirt pedals that are interesting and a little odd, but you can use them for whatever you want. Like that's like a big thing for me is like, genre agnosticism. I like all my weird stuff, but I want you to be able to use this whether you're making a rock record or a pop record or metal or some punk subgenre that 5 people know about. Like I want that to be there for everybody, And so we've crafted a bunch of strange dirt pedals over the years, and then we also started getting into even weirder stuff. Like little things like we made the Beholder, which was like a fuzz reverb that was backwards. That's since actually become open source. We do some DIY stuff too. But in the last couple of years, we've released an analog delay called Sending, which was V2 of one we did back in 2018. And it's an analog delay where everything is MIDI controlled. There's tap tempo, there's presets, there's freaky arpeggio stuff. There's an LFO that has way too much range. And also just a very, at least subjectively to me, very nice sounding preamp that you can use as a dirt pedal or as like a tonal sweetener kind of thing. And then in 2024, we released this pedal called Prismatic Wall, which was inspired by the way that you can use a grand piano as a reverb in a studio setting. So like if you, if you're in the live room of a studio and you stick a mic inside the piano and you tape down the keys that you want to ring out, then you can get a tuned sort of reverb. And it's weird because, if you clap in the room, all the loose strings, all the undamped strings will vibrate. But if you play like a volume swell, like a volume pedal, the strings will only ring if you're in tune with them. And so you get this interesting way of translating like, attacks like transient information. It can be like a pick scrape or plucking or a drum hit or just banging on your instrument into notes, and you can control what those notes are. And that was the inspiration for our Prismatic Wall pedal, which is like in some people's hands, it's just a weird reverb. In other people's hands, it's a horrific noisemaker. But but once you get to know it, it's this sort of beautiful kind of, it feels like a physical extension of an instrument, but it's kind of like a surreal one too. And so it's like we make all these dirt pedals, but then we're getting into this weird stuff too. And it's like, how do you reconcile these worlds? And the answer is, I don't know. Like, we're probably never going to make like a normal chorus pedal. You know what I mean? It's just I've just been lucky to be able to chase the stuff that is most weird and interesting to me. And I guess like the last one I'll mention, since I'm kind of just speed running our product pipeline, is for the last 6 years was collaborating with Chase Bliss on this pedal that we released called Big Time, which is a basically an entire rack mount delay crammed into their automaton format. But we can get into that later on. That one's just that's the thing that is like most recently new that has EAE name on it. And what a wild and beautiful ride that thing was.
Yes, and you've sunset quite a few as well. If you go to the site, you're going to see the current list. But there's a couple that we played early on that I definitely don't see on there. But we've got today. Well, I think it's worth mentioning because we've made enough light of it in the most positive way. What is your degree in?
So I did my undergrad in physics, and then I got my degree. My PhD is in electrical engineering, but the problem is that depending on what school you go to, applied physics lives in the electrical engineering department. So I think if I were somewhere else, it would have been more like applied physics. I did a bunch of stuff with lasers, and I built some gadgets in a clean room, and it just barely worked, and I was able to get out of there alive.
I thought you were going to say food service or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think
there are chefs who do things that are more complicated than what goes on in some clean rooms. The
last time you were on, I think you were talking that you're mentioning specifically as quantum physics.
Yes, that is unfortunately true.
Okay, so. In the time that you were on earlier, and then the time in between now, it was very clear you were busy at work, and I think
you might say he took a quantum leap.
Well, yes, leap. But John doesn't mention this too often, but he did build a 1/32 scale model of the Hadron Collider. And most people have toy trains that go around a loop. No,
he's got the collider.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think
small.
That was me.
Mr.
Anyways,
Matter, antimatter.
Okay, so
unless we did sort of a miniature 2015 and I forgot it all,
or you altered the time-space continuum.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's what prismatic wall is for.
Well, speaking of this pedal that we have now, so you sent us a prototype. I was very excited to get this, and I will say, so Tony and I will share a little bit about our experience with this, and then you can give us the whole scoop on it. How about that?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Tony?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I found it to be a crazy, wild ride. Now,
that's what we like to hear.
That being said, by changing some of the knob positions and different things like that, you can actually get a relatively
if you're looking for normal, you can get it.
Yeah, normal reverb. You can definitely do that. But there are so many options on here and so much control. I mean, you can go really out there.
Yes,
if you want to. It's pretty amazing pedal, honestly. It's fun to play with. That's the beauty of it.
I appreciate that.
It definitely made me want to keep playing. Like, I played this for a while because I didn't do I'm going to swing it to the left, swing it to the right, and then now I've seen what it's done. It to me is like all about I like the in between stuff.
And there's a ton of subtlety too.
Big time.
Different pedal.
I really, really appreciate the topography of this because as Tony and I were talking earlier, it's like if you tried to do this, I mean, sending is almost getting to where this could have been from a, you know, are we just going to have like 16 toggle switches and, you know, dip switches on the inside and the whole 9 yards? But you've created a rather ingenious method by which to do some of the quick change stuff on here. And that's what I really enjoyed about this. I was like, okay, I've got my quick change buttons down below, which are delightfully almost non-present. Like, I'm like, oh, it's just barely above. You can't stop poking the buttons. It's impossible. You can't do it. It's literally like a fidget machine. And, you know, so you've got those to give you sort of the greater swaths of what you can do. But then up above, you got space or spread, mix, also dry kill, preamp and or level, filter and or rise, dwell and or fall, rate and or FM rate, and amount, also FM rate. So all that, like when I first saw this, I there was a bit of me that was like, oh, I didn't. I was like, am I going to be
frozen from
completely
fear.
overwhelmed? But then I was like, no. This is really, really smart. Oh my gosh, and I just enjoyed playing it so much.
I love the little touch switches.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
Okay. Those were. I thought you were talking about the big.
The big foot switches?
Yeah.
Yeah, every pedal's got those, man.
Really? I've never seen them before.
Well, I think one of the keys, there's an auxiliary pedal that John will talk about, I'm sure, but that's like the big tool on here, really, because that allows you to do to switch between a bunch of stuff, and it sounds gorgeous, and it's the textures that you're getting, aside from the reverbs that you can go like, oh, I can get lost in this kind or whatever, but it's just all this other subtlety stuff. I was like, wow. So, okay, we're gushing on it. We're not going to make this all about gushing. We want to learn about it. Why did you make this, John?
So, first of all, thank you. This, you're one of, maybe 10 to 20 people have played this thing for any sort of extended capacity. So it really is genuinely great to get this kind of early feedback. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So this pedal is a spiritual successor to this pedal called Hypersleep that we made, which was one of the ones.
That one. We got
mentioned.
Played that.
I think it was Steve Demadash who was like, yeah, you guys hunted that chip to extinction. Because we were using this bucket brigade called the MN3011, which is it's like the BBD you find in a carbon copy or a memory man, but instead of one output, it has 6 outputs, and you take those outputs and you mix them together or you feed them back, and you can get these kind of weird reverbs. And to put that into perspective, the Belton brick, like what you'd find in like a Caroline Meteor or like a Mantic Proverb or something like that, that is made out of 3 delay lines. So like now granted that the feedback networks in the Belton brick are smarter. That was actually a Brian Newdaber design, fun fact. But at any rate, you can get a lot of interesting sounds out of these BBDs. The problem is that they're noisy, they're hard to find, and we made them without trying to made them a lot harder to find. And so we had to abruptly discontinue this pedal that I had worked really hard on. It sucked. It was, every time I see one of them selling on Reverb for like an inflated price over retail, I cringe a little bit because I know we could have been making this thing for a while, but there's nothing to do but go forward. And so for a long time, I was like, okay, how are we going to, what makes the Hypersleep sound good? That was the big question. So I spent a lot of time, avoiding that because we were working on sending in Prismatic Wall and stuff like that. But eventually, while we were developing Prismatic Wall, I was working on basically taking a Prismatic Wall and loading different code onto it. That was sort of the first pass, right? And we've done a lot of tricks there's this DSP chip that's in approximately 1 million different pedals, the Spin FV1, and it's got a sound, and it's not necessarily a good sound. It's a little tinny. It doesn't have very much headroom, but if you give it the right analog massaging, if you treat it right and you embrace its flaws while also correcting for the ones that you don't want to embrace, you can get a really, really nice sound out of it. And we had a lot of success doing this with Prismatic Wall, but I knew we had to kind of look beyond. And so for this pedal, which at this point I feel like the only thing I'm withholding is the name, and I'm just having fun with that, we wanted it to be stereo, but all of the analog massaging that we had to do in order to make it sound good, like the preamp and the filtering and all this other stuff, the analog tax is you have to do everything twice. And so we did. And so this is it's a digital reverb that's wrapped in analog gain and mixing and filtering. And what I realized made the Hypersleep sound good is the fact that the filtering lives after where the sort of recirculation of echoes takes place. And so you get this kind of like building, blooming, sort of kind of metallic, but not harsh unless you want it to be, reverb sound, which is then filtered into this sort of smooth bed of echoes. And because we have more technology and I've learned a thing or two since then, we were able to make that filter movable. And so that's why you have this filter knob where you can kind of sweep the cutoff frequency around and get a big, bright, in-your-face reverb, or sort of this mellow, kind of like chiller or even like rumbly reverb, right? The other fun part, because we're doing this digitally, is that you can take it doesn't just have to be the same MN3011. You can have, we kind of treated it like a constraint. So with this, the ratio of delay times found in this chip, we were able to remix them in a bunch of different ways. So you guys saw like the mode button, right? Mm-hmm. So those 4 modes are like remixes of this delay chip. The first one being kind of like, this is your classic, right? And then the second one is, what if you took everything and spaced it out twice as far? So it's more sparse, a little bit like multi-tap delays, or like the multi-head setting on a Space Echo or something. And then modes 3 and 4 take that even further. Mode 3 is like, what if you took 4 hypersleeps and put them in a hypercube and mix them all up? But there's like this whole class of reverbs called matrix reverbs, where you can take a delay line and then you can take that output and you can feed it back into itself, into multiple other delay lines. And so if you take 4 delay lines, right, or 6 or however many, and you have a relationship of feeding them into themselves and into each other, you can make what's called a feedback delay network, or a matrix reverb. And the idea being that, sound is going to go in and it's going to kind of choose its own adventure. It's going to go through one delay line, and then it might go back into that delay line. It might come out and pop into another one. And some sounds are going to go in one delay line and just out the door. And others are going to spend a lot of time looping around, right? Just like echoes in a real room, where some echoes reach your ears quickly and others bounce around for a while before they reach your ears. Like if you're in a concert hall and you clap your hands, obviously you hear that clap coming at you, but you also are going to hear the echoes of that clap bouncing around a lot and then hitting your ears. And that's where like the long sustain of a reverb comes from. So we were borrowing some of those ideas, except it was under the constraint of, what if you did it using this like deeply flawed, late 70s, early 80s era technology. It's almost like a parallel universe sort of device. And then of course, wrapping in all this analog stuff. The last mode is what folks call a nonlinear reverb. So in a classic room, going back to that like clapping your hands in a concert hall example, the echoes that are closer to you are going to be louder, and the echoes that are farther away are going to be quieter. But if you're digitally creating echoes, there's no reason that has to be true. And so if you say, great, the short echoes are quieter and the loud echoes are longer, you get half of the classic shoegaze reverse reverb. And the other half of that is using what's called a diffuser. It's kind of the thing that gives reverb like it's almost like ghostly quality, like a really short reverb pre-delay you play, and what comes back is like a ghost of the chord that you played. This is where we've skipped all that part, and so you're just hearing those like backwards delay taps coming in. Like it sounds like it's in reverse because it's the opposite of the attack of your guitar, but we're not actually reversing anything. So that's like mode. But all that is like, what if you could do that with an MN3011 BBD as found in the hypersleep that we can't get anymore? So it's like, that was the prompt. You know, it was like, how far can we take this idea without doing anything else? And the rest of it is like a nice preamp, you know, which is, it's a stereo preamp. It's fully, MIDI controlled. If you turn the mix all the way off, then this thing can just be a dirt pedal if you want it to be, which I think is pretty fun. And then like all the other weird stuff like LFO that you can use to modulate and get like kind of chorusy or flangery sounds. The space control can go way beyond where it's supposed to go, and you get those like freaky aliased digital sounds if you want to. Like I'm a big believer in like, if a knob can go to 12, then it should go to 12. And so that means there are some sounds in here that are insane and not something you're going to use all the time. But with presets and MIDI and like expanded expression and all that, you have the ability to tap into those momentarily. And so you can get that flourish of like a pretty extreme sound, but it just means that you can use it for that one part in the bridge where you want somebody to be like, what was that? And then rewind and listen to it again. Yeah. You know?
I love the fact that you actually, you're creating something that people are going to say, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't think that was, I don't know what just happened, but I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
And it's not so just insane wild. It doesn't, there's some pedals that do things and they're for certain people who just really want to make it absolutely nuts. But to be able to have access to something where you can, you want to stay in some of the lines because that's, your sound or that's your band, right. And, but be able to kind of like make a portrait, but make it a portrait by Basquiat, okay, cool. Now we're talking, this is different. It's not a Pollock painting yet.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the slowly melting is for,
Yeah.
And I think that's I really appreciate you saying that, because the job of a pedal is to change the relationship between your hands, your instrument, and what comes after, right? Yeah. Sometimes what comes after is just the amp in your ears. And sometimes what comes after is your 4 or 5 bandmates who are like, yo, what are you doing? I think that the best thing a pedal can do is make you sound and feel more like yourself and give you the inspiration to do that. Now, sometimes you want something that's going to totally upend your world and make you think differently. But with this, it's like, oh yeah, that kind of sounds like something I heard on a record, but not like that before,
Yeah.
And that's like that sort of like ephemeral moment to chase.
Yeah. There's certain songs that I have personally just in my own band where I'm like, this needs like something, and I'm looking at the pedals. I'm like, I don't know. It's not anything that I'm familiar with, but I feel like it can be there, and if it is, boy, wouldn't that make this little part special?
Yeah, totally.
This is like, I started going, oh, I can put it on. I can. That would make that do the thing without it just completely tearing apart the structure that I've built.
Totally.
So for, if nothing else, if this is your like, special garnish pedal, it's worth it. It can really do that.
Yeah, for sure. Some spices you only buy for that one dish that, it's like, oh, I found this recipe online. I'm going to buy this and it's in the spice cabinet for 6 months. But it's like, if it lands and you're like, well, what else can I, can I just put this on a sandwich and it'll be good? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
It's like what everyone experienced with chili oil like 3 years ago.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the, I don't know. That to me, that feels like the thing to chase.
Yeah, I like that. I'd shared it on a couple episodes. My friend Hex he said, man, I think you should try the Pog, and I'm like, Pog's not for me. And then he's like, I think you could use it, and I was like, it's not for me. And also I'm like, I don't want to spend that much money to do the one tiny thing that this thing can do. And lo and behold, That's exactly what it did. And I was like, darn it. It
Yep.
did the thing I needed it to do. But
Yeah.
that does one thing. And this does a slew of things like that in the spirit of that. Or you can go be my bloody Valentine if you want. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
So what are some of you've talked about some of the deep cut science in this that, maybe not everybody's going to think about. They're just going to think like, whoa, this is awesome. But what were some of the challenges that you ran up against this, maybe that didn't just have to do with a tiny bit of circuitry here or there?
Yeah, I think to put it as bluntly as possible, it didn't sound good for a long time. This thing, I was like, well, we have to make a hypersleep successor. Like, we have to. This is a thing that, we left money on the table, and I felt like this was like unfinished business. If I get hit by a bus, then I'm going to come back as a ghost and have to keep making the hypersleep successor. So it was like, this thing has to exist one way or another. But the problem for a while was the hypersleep sounds good and this thing sounds bad. So how do we square that?
Right.
And it really came down to a few things. One was it came down to the preamp and the filtering. So I love putting preamps and stuff. I can't stop doing it. I think partly to blame is Philippe from Caroline Guitar Company, because the Kilobyte was like a game-changing pedal. I also think like Deluxe Memory Man preamp, the Moog Delay preamp, but also the original Pog, like the big one in the folded metal case with the slider. That preamp is awesome. Using a Pog as a fuzz pedal is like the wrath of God. It's like such an incredible sound. And so I was like, okay, well, this thing, and Hypersleep had a preamp in it. So I was like, okay, the preamp's got to be good, right? And but I also at the time was like, well, sending kind of screws with your dry signal. I think it's good, but not everybody does, and that's okay, right? Like it's it's same thing. Like there are people who put a vintage Deluxe Memory Man in a true bypass loop because they're like, listen, this, or even like a mixer, like a blender loop, like Gig Rig and a few of these companies make stuff like that. And it's like, well, yeah, I want my dry tone to stay dry, right? So I was like, a lot of my early drafts of this had the preamp on just the reverb, which is what the Kilobyte does, and that thing rocks, right? So I was like, this is the way to do it, and it just didn't work, and just nothing I did was sounding good. And finally, I was like, you know what? The original Hypersleep has the preamp on the dry signal, but it also is dead simple. So I stripped away all this circuitry, and I was like, cool, we're gonna make the simplest, like the fewest ingredients I can, right? We're gonna what is it, like the like when you're brewing like a German beer and it can only have 4 ingredients in it. I was kind of
Reinheitsgebot.
That's I was also Gesundheit. I was like, okay, we got to go back to basics on this thing. And suddenly it was like, oh, this thing just sounds better. I was like trying to outsmart myself, And then the other one being the filter. And like what I was saying before, the Hypersleep filter living outside the feedback loop, it turns out that really was important. The tricky part was making a stereo moving filter that sounds good and also isn't noisy. So it was like some of these prototypes were like, oh, this thing sounds good, but if you turn the filter just right, then it just goes, which, a little bit of noise. People get really hung up on noise. I think noise is actually okay sometimes. And
I don't like noise.
It's like sometimes it just tells you it's on. And then there are some, like I think about this a lot with Fairfield, right? Fairfield pedals are beautiful and they're a little unpredictable and they never try to be anything that they're not. I don't know if Fairfield will ever bother to put MIDI and presets in a pedal because it just does what you want it to do. And also some of their stuff will hiss when it's on and not doing anything. And nobody cares because you make great music with them. They just sound good. And I'm trying to let a little bit of that like reckless abandon into my own design work. That said, I beat myself up for months trying to get this thing to be quiet. But just to give you an idea of like where my headspace is at. But yeah, this thing, it didn't sound good for a long time. And the preamp and the filtering were a big part of that. So when it finally clicked and I put it next to a Hypersleep and was like, I don't feel bad anymore. They don't sound the same. And I don't want to tell people that they sound the same. But it felt good to have them next to each other instead of feeling bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's very discreet in the topography. Okay. And by that, everybody, I just mean that you do have 7 knobs up here. But it doesn't feel like overwhelming. But then you have like a whole other stack of controls that are very inviting and they don't feel overwhelming. And I think a lot of pedals out there, it's just like, wow, the knob store is out now, you know, and so is the mini toggles, and those things can be cool too, but they can feel overwhelming, especially if you're doing modulation, and multi-layer access kind of thing.
Sure.
Tell me about how you came to the conclusion of what you've got here. I know some of that was on sending to a degree, but this feels better and different, I think, at least for me.
Yeah, I for some reason, when we did sending, I was going on kind of an anti-toggle crusade, and I don't really know why, because I have nothing. A lot of our pedals have toggles in them, but at the time I was like, I don't want any toggles in this thing, and so we went with buttons. And the button implementation on sending is cool, but it felt like a good first attempt at like a UI. Like I was honing in on the thing that I wanted, and with when we did Prismatic Wall, because it's the same exact control layout, Prismatic Wall and this new thing, same motherboard, right? It's the audio board that's different, because I really wanted to make something that we could reuse, because code is really hard, like really hard, harder than any of the analog stuff I've done is the code stuff. And we have a great firmware guy, my pal Kyle Gardner, who just is, without whom this stuff would not be possible. I feel like a caveman in comparison. So having a reusable motherboard where it's like we don't start from scratch every single time, and that was a little bit me being inspired by like Chase Bliss, for example, right? All the small Chase Bliss pedals, it's the same motherboard. It's the audio board that's different, and so they could tailor that to a specific effect. But the control system it makes it feel like a family, right?
Yeah.
But I was just really enamored by like old like lab gear and like old rack gear and stuff, where it was just you could use buttons to select things. And so I was like, buttons and LEDs feels nice, because then you can, if you run out of space, you can hide stuff like, oh, what if I hold this button down, it turns into something else.
Yeah.
Which we try not to rely on too much, because that can be user unfriendly. But sometimes you just end up going the high density route anyway, and it's like, okay, the manual's got to be good. There's a lot of set and forget stuff. Somebody who's going in on this thing like totally cold can still have a good time if you ignore all of the hidden stuff under the hood. That was like very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without needing to dive really deep. And I feel like we split that difference here. Prismatic Wall has some tweakier stuff, but it's like we're really trying to refine this UI concept and make it feel as good as possible.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, between the Prismatic Wall and this, because I don't know, it might come down to just, because I know that this is all the same on the Prismatic Wall to a degree. Mm-hmm. I think, at least for me, this is one man's tale here. Mm-hmm. The fact that, like, on the Prismatic Wall, each of those sections of controls kind of is like blocked out, and it has its own thing.
Yeah.
And some of the icons that you use are very different. Mm-hmm. There is something about the fact that it feels discrete. So it doesn't feel like, wait, now you have to do this.
Sure.
It's a subtle thing, but because I have played the Prismatic Wall, and I felt like I had a different experience with this. And it might just come down to the fact that some of the icons made more sense to me, or they're not blocked out in a way that I had to deal with them.
Sure.
It felt to me more accessible, maybe even more inviting. That's just me.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, because the Prismatic Wall is so weird, right? Like it's based on a fairly esoteric studio technique, and you hear it and you're like, oh, that sounds kind of like piano strings, I guess, but in some hands it sounds like a weird flanger, right? So it's like, what, for when you plug into a reverb pedal, the answer is never, what the hell is that? It's a oh, this is a reverb, or it's a weird reverb. Whereas
familiarity, it's
it's like,
just triangle. Yeah, that.
Yeah, what does that mean exactly? And with the graphical stuff, the second time in 10 minutes here where I mentioned Philippe, like I love his approach to graphical controls.
Yeah.
And his rationale there was it's a way to throw people off just a little bit. The knob is labeled. You can say, oh, well, it's the knob with this, with a little spaceman critter on it, right? I'm literally wearing a kilobyte shirt right now, but with this, it was like, okay, well, we're trying to represent like a harmonic series and like different tuning intervals. So what is that? How do we express that? And so we just we wanted to take a swing and make it feel a little bit strange. And it's certainly, this is not a pedal that's for everybody. And so we felt emboldened to be weird with it, but it's it sort of felt like we felt like ambassadors taking this idea that had lived in the synthesizer world for some amount of time. Physical modeling synthesis is decades old, right?
Yeah.
But there somehow had not been a guitar pedal that did this. There are racks. I had a great chat with David Torn about this because I think it's the PCM 81 has a pretty neat resonator module in it, but
81, 82, whatever works.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Those sounds are really unique, but even among the few people who were proficient in those units, fewer still were getting good sounds out of them. And so it was like this thing of like, how do we make this accessible to people? And now in the last 2 years since this came out, there's now a wealth of resonator pedals on the market. There's, the Kinetone Ghosts, which is unbelievable. The Von Gogh Rose Tones, which is great. That one feels more, that one is almost like an omnichord kind of sound. So it's like this really, someone's going to write a pop hit with that thing because it just has that sound. There's the resonator mode on the Chase Bliss Lost and Found, which feels almost like a guitar synthesizer. Like you're able to, that one you kind of tell it what to play by playing your guitar rather than sort of this thing trying to like follow you in a weird way. It's like the weird, ghostly sympathetic string sort of sound. So it's like, but all this to say, we now have this ecosystem, right? When the first overdrive pedal came out, people were like, whoa, that's crazy. And then approximately 1 million more overdrive pedals came out and people are still buying them. Now that there are more resonators, people are realizing, oh, well, maybe this thing like actually does have musical utility and isn't just for making weird sounds.
Yeah. For sure.
So that's been an interesting thing to observe.
I hope that lots of people who are doing like, heck, EDM or synth or anything. Oh my gosh. I feel like this would just be incredible on that.
I hope so. I think people like a sweepable filter,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate that you made this because this is a really special pedal. And B, I'm glad that you sent this our way and took time to talk about it because it's great to hear, from the inner mind, the workings and how and why and all that great stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, now I want to go back and play around some more.
Yeah, me too.
From the stuff that we just talked about. I mean,
please hang on to it. I will. One thing that you should definitely jump into if you haven't yet is morphing.
Yes.
So this is the thing that we did on Prismatic Wall, and every preset has basically a second preset. And when you kick on morph, it will glide to that preset. And so the whole idea is you dial in a sound you like, and then you step on morph, and when that LED is on, you dial in a second sound, and then you travel back and forth between those. And so you can use it for like freaky pitch bends and dive bombs and reverb freezes and stuff. Or you can say, hey, guess what? When my guitar solo comes in, I'm going to bump the mix up from 30% to 60%, right? Or I'm going to bump up the preamp a little bit. You can have it go from, one of my favorite ways to use it is I can have it be, when I turn it on, it's a dirt pedal using the preamp, and then when I kick on the morphing, then the reverb comes in, and you can have the reverb swell in. You can adjust that's what that rise and fall is for, is how quickly this turns on and off.
Okay.
And if the foot switch is if you want more control, plug in an expression pedal, and that you've set your low and high points already, so you can use an expression pedal to continuously go between the 2 points.
That's what I was going to ask. What the expression pedal controls that?
Too late, Tony. He just told you.
Well, You beat me to it.
I think being able to have it mappable to anything was really important, because I don't know what you're using it for, and so it's fun to just like totally break all the options open.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to on the side. I'm gonna have to see if you can give me the prescription for creating a clickable dive bomb. That sounds fantastic.
Oh, I'll be happy to walk you through it, man. It's genuinely fun.
And for the same reason, I was sitting there in the studio and I'm like, John, I want to make it do this. I can't figure out how to make it do this. He's like, yeah, I don't know how we can do that either, but it might be that. So I got to find out.
Nice.
Yeah, really great. Now, okay, so when's this going to be out?
As of right now, it is looking like last week of August. Manufacturing is starting tomorrow.
Wow.
It is the end of July. We just hit what we call code lock, which is when the firmware is done.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a bunch of boards, enclosures, everything sitting on baker's racks at our shop ready to get programmed and tested. And so tomorrow is we program everything. I finished training the team on how to build them, and then we're just going to crank out as many as humanly possible.
Wow. Outstanding.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. You're going to have to get your hands on. Do you know what this is going to go for? And if you don't want to say, that's okay.
This is going to retail for $3.99, same as Prismatic Wall.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, very, very exciting. Be on the lookout, everybody, for more of this. And the best way, arguably, to be poised and ready to strike is to join the mailing list on electronicaudioexperiments.com.
Yes, sir.
I just did that, even though I thought I was already on it, but now I'm for sure on it.
Now you'll get 2 emails.
And I'm gonna get two. Yeah, he loves the emails. Keep sending them.
Your data.
Yes. All right. Well, we're going to motor on to Tony. You got something for us now?
No.
Okay. Bypass Tony altogether.
Drew Bufford.
Yes.
Todd, you know I do.
Would you rather?
All right. Bring it.
Yes, would you rather? The game that's sweeping the nation.
Yes.
This week's Would You Rather, I'm calling 4 or 5.
Okay.
So, you're about to go to this. Well, you are going. You've been hired. This is a high...
Have you figured this out?
I think I have. I
Okay.
got a lot of scribbles and lots of arrows going here. So, you're going to a very high prestige and a high paying studio gig.
Okay.
It's not just any. It's a fly-in gig. It's a multi-instrumental.
Yes.
Because you are a...
Consummate pro.
Yes. Yes. Consummately.
Yes.
So you pack up 4 or 5 various instruments that you're going to play, and you send them with Lenny the driver.
Okay.
He's going to drive them. You're going to fly.
Right.
Well, apparently, Lenny took a wrong turn
Okay.
in Albuquerque.
Okay. Right. Of
So
course.
you show up at the studio. You're ready to really get into this.
Mm-hmm.
And you discover that Lenny is nowhere to be found.
Oh my.
Partying with Dave Jordan.
Yes.
Quite possibly.
He's on the 66 going, how do I get back to the highway?
I'm getting my kicks on Route 66. But anyhow, the engineer there says, dude, no problem. We got 2 instruments.
I'm glad he didn't say, dude, impossible.
Well, yes. Anyhow,
For those who know.
we've got 2 instruments that should cover all your needs.
Okay.
So, takes you back in the studio. There are 2 instruments. And this is where the 4 or 5 comes into play. One instrument is a custom Wayne quad Michelangelo Batio style guitar.
God.
Now, the difference, the reason it's custom is it's got
Wouldn't it all be it's not a factory product?
Yes, it is. It should be. Damn it. So this is the X.
Yeah, I get it.
You know,
With one going up your nose, apparently.
No, well, that would be the extra.
Just belt buckle spin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that because
All right.
there of the 4 necks, there's a 12-string, nice, a 6-string, a 4-string bass, and an 8-string mandolin neck.
All right.
This also comes with, as you not what's the word I'm looking for? So
I'm going to let you struggle with this.
you're going to let me struggle with this.
Eloquently?
Eloquently
Yeah.
asked. Yes, it comes with the belt mount spinner.
Okay.
So that you can easily shift between the various necks.
Mm-hmm.
The other option is it's
I'll take whatever the other one is.
Oh, no, you won't. I guarantee you. Well, you might. The Cheap Trick Rick Nielsen Quint.
That's what I was thinking of.
Quint neck.
Yeah.
5 neck. Quint.
Yeah.
Quint.
That's the Uncle Dick.
My lord.
No,
Times, yeah. he's-
well, Uncle Dick only has 2 necks.
yeah, but this is the.
this is the long one.
Yes.
Weighs about 800 pounds.
Yeah.
So that one has a 12-string, a standard 6, a Strat scale length 6 with the tremolo, a 6-string bass, and even a fretless 6.
Uh huh.
No mandolin.
No mandolin.
Oh.
I quit.
And that one only comes with a back brace.
Yeah.
So, given that you have to be a multi-instrumentalist, which would you rather have? The 4-string that has a wider variety of necks, or the 5-string, which only has, well, I mean,
You mean the 5 neck?
or the 5-string, the 5 neck, which
Got a lot more than 4 strings on that.
yeah, there's plenty of strings. That would be a real fun one to take into the shop. So, which would you rather?
Okay, you go ahead.
Well, as fun and as heavy as the Cheap Trick Rick Nielsen guitar would be, I think since this is a multi-instrumental gig,
Yes.
I have to go with the quad neck. And you know how fun it is to spin a guitar around on a belt buckle.
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
Actually.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, you got to work that into your next gig.
Yes.
You and your bass player can spin at the same time.
John, you've handled that plenty of times. How does that factor into your arsenal?
Oh lordy. I mean, I feel like the quad neck is going to be the one. I love a heavy guitar, so both of those handle that. What I want to know is, can you record all of the instruments simultaneously? Because then you can do. What's the story of Bruce Springsteen's hollowed out Telecaster, where it had 6 sets of electronics in it, so that it was some session musician who could record multiple tracks at the same time, and then get paid the day rate for 6 session musicians simultaneously.
Whoa, that's
It was some union loophole type deal, right? But that's why Bruce Springsteen's Telly is basically hollowed out. So what I want to know is which one of these has more jacks on it, and will let me get paid extra for this horrific inconvenience that has been laid upon me.
Well, John, you're in luck because each of those necks and their associated pickups all have wireless systems in them. Each on
that's
a
good.
separate channel, so you can play
if I
all of them at the
guitar-
same time.
I'm just imagining the cable tangle that forms as I.
You can only spin a few times. No, these are wireless, totally
right.
wireless.
Cool. Yeah. No, I feel like I want to live a little. I want to spin that belt buckle. I want to injure the people around me. I feel like with the Cheap Trick guitar, you're just kind of standing there like, "Yep, I'm ready. I can't reach those bottom strings, but I can certainly try." Whereas with the 4-neck guitar, you're just you're doing tricks. You're spinning around. You can cut in and play somebody else's line without having to change your instrument over.
Yeah,
I guess that's the whole point of it. But I don't know.
So there you go. We have 2 so far for the quad neck. Todd, what will it be? Will you make it unanimous?
If I can have it checkered like Rick Nielsen's guitar, then I'm in for the spin.
Ooh.
If you
That's
can
where
have
I was thinking it was the Uncle Dick, because I remember it being very cheap tricky.
yes,
And I know he had the orange one.
yes.
But
And he also had a checkerboard
The
one, too.
checkerboard one is, that's so classic for him. And
So you're saying you'll take the quad neck as long as it has a checkerboard finish?
yes.
Okay.
If you can make that happen, then I'm in.
I think I can make that happen.
Okay, good.
I have already put a wireless system in with
Perfect.
4 separate channels. So, yes,
All right.
we can also make it checkerboard.
Done. Also, I think we also have figured out what John's next pedal is, which is called the Union Loophole, which allows you to play any 4 effects at one time.
That's a banger of an April Fool's pedal.
Right?
I love that.
Oh, that's a one-off. Make it for charity. Do whatever you want with that, John. It's yours now. All right. Well, we need to say a colossal thank you to John for.
Wait.
Sorry, time out.
Todd.
I'm going to back that up.
What the?
We need to thank a few people here.
Oh, yes, we do, Todd.
Tony, do it.
Well, at this point of the show, there is a special group of people we love to thank. These are our executive producers. Now, an executive producer helps make this show possible. How do you become one? Well, it's quite easy. You head over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate and become a sponsor, a friend, a hero, I tell you, of the podcast. Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts, opportunities to win some great stuff as part of our 10-year celebration and soon to be 500 episode. We're already going crazy over 1 million downloads, I tell you.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's still wild.
this is the year of years, as they say. But in addition to all that great stuff, I'm told there's one thing more. What would that be?
You get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing. Now, see, John, since you've been here last, we didn't have all these high-tech, pre-recorded little things there, did you?
No.
Did we?
Amazing.
Yes. Yeah, this is high-tech stuff.
It's all run off a delay chip that we
Rewired.
rewired.
It's my BBD into a LC35. Most of it's going through my BBDs.
All right.
That's funny. Yes, you get to have your name read on the thing, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers, Anthony Lathrop, Brett Hogarth, Cameron Pampas, Darren Gregory, Don Kloss, Elad Mizrahi, James Bell, James White, John Esterly from Buzzer of X.
He is alive, by the way.
Yes, he is.
He sent me a message this week.
I told you I saw him a couple of weeks ago at a fundraiser.
Did you just have a conversation with him too?
No, but I miss him.
Yeah.
Real sweet guy.
He's a good guy.
He resurfaced.
Yes. Anyhow, John Sebastian, John Halverson, all of the Johns right here. Mm-hmm. Justin Jones, Ken Sayers, Michael Senchuk, Mike Davenport, Owen Eads, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? Richard Kendall, Rick Calhoun, Rusty Sneeden, Stefan Lamb, Tom Brazen, Trevor Ellenberg, Trevor Gunberg, Vader and Pedals, Caribou Gone, Ed Rossler, Andrew Fryette, Bob Claymeyer, and Chris St. George.
Yeah.
But wait, Todd.
Okay.
There's more.
Good.
Because there's a special group of executive producers. We call them our grand poobahs. These are the creme de la creme, the A number ones, the top of the heap. And they wear a fez, just like the one hanging on the wall.
That's right.
It's every time they listen to the podcast. It's the law. So, special thanks to these grand poobahs. Anthony Jamalero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robison, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Gregory Randall, Hex Matos, John Williams, Martin Cliff, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Moon Guitars, Pedro Vasquez, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, James Pennington, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wow Pickups, Jonathan Labate from M2 Labs, Ty Barnes, James Castellano, Kenny Howes, Michael Coward, and Ude Ram.
Yes. Thank you, one and all, for supporting the show and getting us thus far in our Guitar Knobs lifetime. We cannot do it without you. And if you've been thinking about joining up, I'm telling you, it would be in not only our best interest, but
It would be in our best interest if you joined us.
but yours as well, because we've got a whole other stack of stuff coming when we hit the 500 mark.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, and all year round. We love doing that stuff, putting gear in your hands and whatnot. So, John, we need to thank you for helping us create yet another episode and for sharing this incredible pedal that we have to look forward to.
You guys are super welcome. It's always a pleasure to be on here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Where can people find this, and how might they better get a hold of what you're about to make here?
Yeah, you can find us at electronicaudioexperiments.com or eae.zone if you like a short, lazy URL. At Electronic Audio Experiments on Instagram or our various retailers all around the world.
Excellent. And you know what? If you're just shopping around, you're like, yeah, well, I'm looking at some pedals. Get some merch. I just got one of those shirts. I just bought one just now because my old one was turned into a dishwashing rag because I wore it so much. So yeah, they got great stuff there. Rep the brand while you're waiting for the pedal. How about that?
You know which one I like the best?
Which one?
Mm-hmm.
The Daddy's Junkie Music one.
Yes.
I love Daddy's. I got so many cool things off of Daddy's Junkie Music back in the day, back in the 90s.
That was the spot. That was, one of the last ones was in downtown Boston.
Yeah.
There was one about 20 minutes from my house growing up in Connecticut. So it was just like, that was the place to go. If you want old busted PV stuff, if you want to fall in love with old busted PV stuff, that's where you go. It's where we got all of our Joe's cabs. Have I gone on this rant? That's probably for another time. But all the old Joe's Teely cabs, we got those from Daddy's. When they shut down, they had a warehouse in New Hampshire where they were selling stuff on Craigslist for a while. And and our old graphics guy, Zach Weeks, bought and flipped so much broken stuff. Oh, those were the days. So yeah, paid homage. If you buy a shirt and a pedal, then the shirt is half off, by the way. So
that's great. Cool. Incentive.
That is an excellent idea.
Yes. Tony, about yourself.
Well, it's real easy. Go over to pickguardian.com and check out the stuff that I do. What do? I make pick guards for guitars and all other kinds of instruments, too. How do you get one? Shoot me an email. Let me know what you need, what you're trying to do, what pickups you're using, what color you want, all the stuff. I'll make something special for you. As Todd likes to say, it's your opportunity to make your guitar even more yours.
Exactamundo. All right, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram, Todd. At Guitar Knobs. At Guitar Knobs. And if you fancy sending me an email, you can do that at todd@theguitarknobs.com. And I try to make sure that things don't land in the junk box. I do scour through that every once in a while, but that's also a scary place, and I don't like it. So
it is scary.
If you do send me an email and for some reason I don't respond, I'm not ghosting you, I promise. But we would love to hear from you. What's your 4 on the floor? What kind of gear are you playing? Are you excited about this pedal? Anything you want. Just say hi. We're easy.
Easy like Sunday morning.
Yes. So be on the lookout for this. Have a fantastic guitar week and subscribe.
Yeah, baby.
Woo. Can you do that, Tony? Do you know how to do that, Tony?
I know how to solder.
You know how to solder?
I know. I'll have one of those too, please. Electronic Audio Experiments.
That should be like a Jeopardy puzzle. I'd like to buy an E. Cool, you basically solved the whole thing. Oh, hey, John.
Yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
To do that.
Did you ever think about going to Istanbul?
No, but we did discuss Constantinople.
Ah.
Where's John? Is John here? John ain't here yet, but he might be soon. Because John is coming on the podcast.
Alrighty.
The only thing...
I'm going to try
Yeah,
Try one more thing real quick.
No problem.
Let's see here.
If John knew a thing or two about electronics, this wouldn't be a problem.
I know. You'd think that he would know a thing or two about electronics, at least some experiments.
Yeah. Yeah, we're been a Radio Shack, bro.
We can't hear him either.
Strange.
We're even.
We're strange.
I'm not even the only John Snyder in the pedal industry,
Well, but you're the John Snyder.
This is true. Emulate gear.
Yeah. Where'd this thing come from?
I stole the nice vocal condenser mic from work, and I've been betrayed.
But you own work, don't you?
That is true.
Yeah, wait till they get it. Hope they never find out. I hope I never find out. Yeah, you should change your name.
Trademark my own name.
Yeah, the John Snyder.
Yeah, you got to start a petition.
That'd be perfect. Yeah. What's the little switch on the back for?
No, it's to switch from Atari to regular TV and back. No,
I'd like it.
Tony's gonna have a tantrum if he
doesn't. Tommy!
No.
Sorry.
Now I don't even know what's happening.
I tried. I really did try. When do we get going? Tony, you ready? You got your concentrating face on.
I am concentrating, but I am ready.
Okay, let's do it. And
away
we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.